All right, I wanted to come back to yesterday's example, the one I showed you in the earlier video. Once I established that this trade was valid and that I was now in the trade, I could turn the tracking on, even though it's not tracking, right? Because it thinks it may have stopped out. It's not tracking. It doesn't even show it as a trade. Well, how would I turn the tracking on once I'm in the trade? It's very easy. All you have to do is open your calculator and temporarily add more to your stop. Let's call it 5 ticks. The idea is you want to push the stop below so that it is not being touched by this entry bar. So when I was in the trade yesterday, I put a 5 in, hit OK, and now you see the stop is moved temporarily. It's not being touched, and now the calculator can see that it is being tracked. Another thing I did, because this is late in the evening for me, I want to go make dinner and I don't want to sit here and manage a trade 5 minute after 5 minute after 5. I want to kind of get the most I can out of this. And this is what's great about knowing how to use your tools at the appropriate time. I opened the calculator up and I implemented a 1 bar trailing stop. So I set my N bar factor. You could set it to 1 or 2. I put it to 2 because I could see it already went past the 2x. I put it to 2, and instead of trailing a 3 bar stop, I changed that to a 1. Trail N bars. Well, what is N? N is the whatever amount you put in here. So I'm trailing by 1 bar, and it's implemented when the price gets to the 2x, which is the target 3. I could have made it any of the targets. So watch what happens. Watch the trailing stop. Notice it's trailing the moving average. So by making this change on the fly while I'm in the trade, now it's trailing below each new closing bar, as long as that bar closes up above your catapult line. So I ended up stopping out here. Now, had I not done that, the trailer would have gone all the way to here and finally stopped out 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 minutes later, and it wouldn't have even been as good. I wouldn't have even made as much. You see? Now, it's possible that this stop would have held and kept on going up and up and up and up and up and up and up, and that could have happened, and that does happen. I didn't care. I wanted to get the most out of what I could, and by the time I hit that stop, I was ready to go start making dinner, and that's what I did. It was a wonderful evening. So the point is when I'm finished, I want to put it back to my original setup. So then I'm going to go back and I'll put in my 2 or my 1 or whatever I'm using as my stop offset. I'll come back to my N bar trailer and I'll just put in the 9s again. Maybe make that 3 bars. Just put it back. You don't have to. Maybe you like to trade like this all the time. It's up to you. But this is what I do. I put it back because this is a decision that I can make on the fly. So now it doesn't even look like a trade at all, but we know better. We know that it was. It's just how you use the tools, and the more you use them, the better you will get at them. Couple more examples. This trade right here. Again, don't worry about the time of day, but notice that the stop, it's floating up a little bit above the catapult line, and the stop is above the catapult line. So does it make sense? Put your horizontal line right at the line. Adjust your stop a tick or 2 below, right? Now, obviously it wasn't necessary in this case. And as soon as the bar comes up, maybe to here, more than halfway to target 1, give or take, I can move my stop back to its original location. And then when it goes up to target 1, I'll take the risk off the trade like so. Look at the one before that. This one's a slightly bigger adjustment, but is it a worthy adjustment? I think it is. In fact, I might even go above the 14. I don't mind putting a little extra risk on these trades. Now, I'll just point out to you that this is during a time that we don't want to be trading. But just for the sake of the example, this is a case where you have to make a decision because it could have stopped out way up here, but notice that the bar came down, you know, halfway, maybe a little bit more, right here. So when that happens, I'm going to move the stop back to its original location. And notice that the catapult line is already way down here now. I'm even below the moving average. So then it comes up and stops out, and I'm not stopping out at my adjusted stop. I'm stopping out at the original stop, because once it pushes down, I feel like, okay, it's moving in the right direction. I've given the trade the room that it needs to develop. I can now go to my original stop. You see, these are just techniques. Again, there's many ways to trade, but I'm showing you ways that I like to trade. Notice it poked down below the minus 200 level, getting oversold, and the reversing trade was a big winner, despite it not being during a mini session time. So that leads me to the last point, which doesn't really have to do with the stop placement. It just has to do with the concept that you can test a trade plan that doesn't matter what time it is, if you're trading in the day or when the markets are active, maybe even if you're not. But if you are oversold, now you're looking for a reversing trade. Now, you're not going to want to do that in the face of a strong trend unless you get like some other sort of confirmation, like a failed attempt to make a new low. Maybe it makes a higher low instead. But this isn't trending. This is going sideways. The point is that instead of a mini session, you might just look for the situation where oversold, buy the reversal, or overbought, sell the reversal. And that could be your trade plan. Just test it first. Test it out. Learn to specialize in certain patterns that occur. And that's another viable way to use the strategy. And these were things I had hoped to spend more time on in the boot camp. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me about them. We could always get into more discussion about these topics. But I wanted to record this video, give it to you guys so that you can watch it, contemplate it, maybe look at your charts, start thinking about doing some fast testing with these ideas, try the variable initial stop placement. In other words, hide that stop so that you have a little more opportunity for the trade to work out, and then let me know what you think. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video series. This is TJ with the Catapult Trader. See you on the next one.